following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And here we are, in person, live and in person at the Star in Frisco.
Cannot believe it.
Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and the star of the show, one Mickey Spagnola.
Yeah.
Good to be back with you guys. Mick Shots hasn't been on the air since, I think it was the Monday before the Hall of Fame. Brad Sham and I did
That's right.
a version of Mick Shots from Oxnard,
Well, that
California.
doesn't count, bro. That does not count.
That's not the same.
Yeah,
it's not the same if Everson's not here
No,
either.
absolutely.
So
if the trio's not here, then it ain't working.
It's the 2021 season debut of Everson Walls. He's got all of these hot sports opinions about what the Cowboys have done over the last 28 days. It was 4 weeks ago today that the Cowboys charter landed in Oxnard, California. And how much has happened in the last 4 weeks?
Quite a bit.
A lot of speculation.
A lot of speculation, a lot of injuries. As Brad Sham would say, we go to training camp to find out who's going to get hurt. And we did.
And they're not even practicing the way we used to.
No, not
Let's
at
think
all.
about that.
So what's today, the 17th? Yeah, 4 weeks exactly, right? 28 days. Took off on July 20th.
That's right. And so how far away are we from September 9th in Tampa? I had it yesterday, 22 days.
22, okay. I was going to say 20.
So just over 3 weeks away.
Carry the one.
Yeah.
Just over 3 weeks away from that.
And they're not quite ready to go. But,
No, they're not.
As a matter of fact,
Nobody is.
5 guys today won't be ready to go because they have to get to 85 on the
Have you got the scoop
roster.
yet? Have you got the scoop yet?
No, but I would imagine there's a couple guys that are going to end up on injured reserve.
Which means they're out for the season.
Because if they're on injured reserve before
For the entire season.
Yeah. If you're on the 53 for a day, then they can put you on returnable IR, which is 3 weeks again. But I would think from what I've heard of injuries, Shewu Alanalua probably going to go on injured reserve. He's got a neck injury, and it's pretty severe.
Give me his number. I'm
45,
Yes.
fullback out of
fullback.
TCU.
Yes. He was going to make this team, too.
He was,
They
and
wanted
he
him
played
to
well
make
in the
this
Hall of
team.
Fame game, and unfortunately he got hurt in the Hall of Fame game, too.
And it's a neck injury, and that's a bad thing for a fullback because even when you come back, you're going to stick your neck in there again.
You have to.
Right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not making the team. So
Really
that's
like that kid, too.
Yeah.
He's a good kid, too.
And then I'm sure and see, here's the key thing on these cuts. You don't want to cut like camp bodies because you need them for these preseason games. If you're not going to play your starters, like they don't have an excess of offensive linemen to say, okay, that guy's not making the team, I can get rid of him. So I would imagine down the road, wide receivers, down the road, defensive backs. I think those guys are probably the most expendable of anyone, and maybe a running back. I don't know.
Hey, I mean, I'm feeling really some shade.
No,
I'm
because
feeling some shade coming over here from since I sat down, man.
They have an excess of defensive backs.
Oh, okay,
That's what I mean.
All right,
not that they don't need them, but you got to find out where you can.
You throwing shade on Murray, right? Was it Jamal Adams? Jamal Adams.
That's the other breaking news around the league right now. Jamal Adams has a 4-year, $72 million contract.
72 or 77? What
It's 72, I think. It's posted 77. But no, it's your remark afterwards,
Mickey had an adjective
highly
about that
offended.
contract
for a safety. Come on, man.
He didn't say for a safety. He said for a blank safety.
See, I was about to get on Bill about his whole quarterback thing. I saw him the other night, heard him the other night. Did a great job, by the way,
Well, thank
on
you.
the game. I really enjoyed it. Your tidbits, I hear them all the time here. So now the fans get to hear the good stuff, though. But I was going to get on you because it was always about about the little quarterbacks and everything's about Texas quarterbacks and oh, my God, you know all the history. But no, it's Spags now, man. Spags is killing me, man.
In the scheme of things, because of the salary cap, I just think $18 million a year is a little excessive for the safety position.
You're digging a deeper grave.
I know.
You're digging a deeper
So do you want Amari Cooper or do you want Jamal Adams?
Oh, I want Amari Cooper.
Yeah, and that's the trade-off, right? Because if you want to use his $18 million for a wide receiver, his is 20. But if you can't afford the 20, then now I got 18 and I got a safety.
Is Jamal Adams a safety or is he more than a safety?
I think he's more than a safety. And that'll bring one of the topics we'll call up today.
I think he's less than a safety.
When I think
he's closer to a linebacker than a.
And when I look at Micah Parsons, I don't look at him as a linebacker. I look at him as a football player.
Interesting.
And I can use him in so many different ways.
Which means when Micah Parsons gets to the point of franchise tag time in his career, he's going to have enough sacks that he's going to want to be categorized as an edge rusher.
Did you? He must have been reading my column because did you hear his remark on Hard Knocks? He basically said, "I'm a football player."
That's it.
And I said,
"That's it.
Exactly right."
I think Jamal Adams is a football player.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. All right, back on the cuts for a second.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. To your point on it's not necessarily the bottom guys on the roster that are getting cut today. Here's an example of it in New York with the Giants. They cut Alfred Morris.
I saw that.
Okay. It's not because Alfred Morris, I'm just reading through the lines here. It's not because Alfred Morris is necessarily at the end of his career. They know he's in shape now. They know he's ready to go. And they probably told Alfred Morris, stay in shape, and you may be back once we have an injury.
Or once the first game of the season is over with.
Right.
So he cannot be on IR.
And then he can't take a guaranteed contract.
Right.
Because if you're a veteran and you're on the roster for the first game, then your base salary is guaranteed. You can do it once in your career.
you do it now too because he's been in camp long enough. And he was on the team last year, and he's in shape, and you got him in reserve now, and he's just hanging out near the facility.
Right.
And so the Cowboys might have someone like that. No one comes to mind right now, but there are cuts that happen this week where it doesn't necessarily mean these guys are out of the league.
I'm not sure they've got anybody on the roster that kind of
it could be
fits
someone who's dealing with some sort of nagging injury, who's not going to be able to play, and they don't think he'll get picked up by another team, but he might be a practice squad candidate. The other thing about the new rules that were instituted because of COVID last year, and they are continuing this year as far as the practice squad and injured reserve. When we watch these preseason games more than ever before, there are more players playing in these preseason games that are going to be on NFL rosters and actually play in NFL regular season games, especially with an expanded schedule with 17 games.
Right. That's true.
Where before, these guys, you could roll your eyes at these preseason games and say these guys are going to be working. Half these guys are going to be at Home Depot, in a month, whatever. No, you just do the math on it. You got 53-man roster. You got a 16-man practice squad. There's 69 players there, and that didn't even account for the ones that go on injured reserve. You're up to 75 out of the 90 there.
Right. Which was Mike McCarthy's.
And that's just to start the season.
When Green Bay won the Super Bowl, they used 77 players.
I bet at the end of the season, I bet you if you went back to last year too, it's not fair last year because there were so many opt-outs too, but I bet at the end of this season, you will find that there are, on average, of the 90-man rosters in training camp, 75 to 80 players on each team's 90-man roster are on an NFL roster in some capacity.
And counting practice
squad this season.
Yeah, because 53 and 16 do
They're
the
already
math.
up to 70.
Yeah. So, and then injuries, IRs, guys that just fall by the wayside, and you got to replace them. So that's why the salary cap is so important, because somebody will say, oh, they got $5 million left. Well, you need a little cushion there.
Right.
Because if you put a guy on IR, that salary counts, and now I got to replace him, and chances are when I replace him, if it's not a young guy, it's going to cost me another $1 million. So, yeah, you got to have a cushion.
You've spoken of the cushion before. The cushion is always important. That's been your big deal.
That's right.
But with our signings this year, I must admit, this is one of the best draft choices, and draft rounds that we've ever had. I think this class is amazing. I really do. Going back to the game itself, not the Pittsburgh game, was not really impressed with the Pittsburgh game, but when you could see, and I always talk about the culture, you can kind of see the culture with Dan Quinn. It changes a little bit, more pressure, creating more chaos offensively.
You'd love playing for him.
Oh, man, they are bringing it. They are bringing it. That front seven is extremely aggressive. And to me, that's what I would like to have. It's no secret that I wasn't a fan of the flex defense because it just left the DBs hanging out to dry. This defense does not do that. It gives them an opportunity to change up. You don't have to have the same look all the time. If you're going man-to-man, you don't know if it's going to be a quick blitz, all-out blitz, single blitz, zone blitz. You don't know what it's going to be. And as a defensive back, that gives me so many more opportunities to where my head games that I'm playing with the wide receiver can be a little bit more effective. And so I just enjoyed seeing the front four. They were just going buck wild out there.
You know, last night, and Bill, I don't know if you noticed this or not, because you guys were mostly on a tight shot, right?
Well, eventually we started showing plays.
So my impression from last night, and I don't know if it was because they were on artificial turf, but those defensive ends were getting off the line of scrimmage. Randy Gregory and Dorrance Armstrong, to the point they were giving Tyron Smith and La'el Collins problems. I was just amazed how fresh they looked. Now, they gave Randy basically the weekend off, right? He didn't have to fly to Arizona. They sent him back. He had a little bit of a foot deal going.
Oh, okay.
But his takeoff was amazing.
It always has been.
And it was even more. I mean, I saw somebody said, oh, yeah, he was throwing Tyron Smith around. I said, whoa, let's not go that far. He might have been beating him around the edge. He wasn't throwing him around, right? And same thing with Dorrance Armstrong. I mean, his stats from that preseason game were absolutely amazing. I think it was, and he only played a half.
2 sacks.
Five tackles, 2 sacks. I think it was 2 tackles for losses, and he had at least 3 or 4 quarterback pressures and a forced fumble, maybe, or recovered from. I can't remember.
If I recall correctly, one of those pressures or sacks was against Kelvin Beachum, who's a starting right tackle for Arizona. It wasn't like he was going up against backups.
You mentioned that in the game about these weren't just backups.
Yeah. Now the Arizona offensive line in the second half was bad.
Yes.
I mean they have done what they can to try to shore up their first team offensive line, which they really needed to do for Kyler Murray, and they did that a year ago, and they have those guys basically back, but. The backups are not good.
Right there.
But again, Cowboys. Armstrong was getting pressure against the starters.
Armstrong was getting pressure against the starter. I recall
so
that statement being made.
That stood out to me, yeah. And then what you were saying about the draft choices, now one of them they really need to come through is Osa Odighizuwa with the Neville Gallimore injury. He's got the dislocated elbow, and they're saying 4 to 6 weeks. So even
you could tell he was in pain
on the show. That hurt me to watch it. Right? Yeah. If it's 4, so he's got 2 weeks now and 2 weeks into the season. They could put him.
He'll go on IR
injured reserve
for 3, which is and the rule on IR, as Mickey has alluded to, is he's on the 53. Then you put him on IR, and it's a minimum 3 weeks now on IR.
So he could be back for the
4th game.
Practicing for the 4th game if he's ready to go. Otherwise, the 5th game, but you don't have to carry him on the roster the entire time hurt. and make them inactive. So there's things like that they have to massage.
Once again, the depth is alone. I saw a couple of defensive ends bringing it in the first half.
He was playing second team to Neville Gallimore at the 3 technique, and then in these last practices after he got hurt, he's been working with the first team at defensive tackle with Carlos Watkins. And so
I think it has to be a concerted effort to get off, because we had 3 or 4 encroachment penalties, correct?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
and so
you
maybe
could tell
that was in their mind.
That's in their minds. We have to get off on the defensive line.
And it's like they're trying, even against the run, they're penetrating to try. It's almost getting back to what Marinelli was doing, right? You penetrate and try to muck things up in the backfield.
And that happened a few times as
did.
well. Yes,
It did.
You had offensive linemen that were whiffing on our D linemen, and they were going straight to the running back.
And I'll tell you, another guy is going to cause problems on the roster. He's coming on now. He had a slow start to training camp. Simi Fehoko, the wide receiver, I think he showed up in that game. He made some really nice catches. A couple catches yesterday, last night.
And you have to gain the trust of the quarterback. You could see that the quarterbacks trusted him.
Yeah,
because obviously his routes are true, and he's a great target, of course.
Yeah, he's big. So
and he's got a great opportunity now. We'll see what happens with the Malik Turner turf toe injury that he suffered the other night. But that opens the door for Fehoko to show what he can do, and a lot of it's on special teams also.
And one of the other injuries that I think was a shame, their 4th-round pick, Josh Ball, the offensive tackle.
Yeah.
I think he could have competed for that backup swing tackle job, and he suffered the high ankle sprain, and I don't know how soon he'll get back. And that position still got to be addressed. I'm sorry.
Right now, you're going with who?
I'm not sure. How about that? They've been using, and they've flipped him now. They had Ty Nsekhe at left tackle, Terrence Steele at right tackle with the backups, and then when they had to start playing him with the first team, Ty Nsekhe struggled some.
He did.
So this last time, when they didn't, like last night, when they didn't use the times they didn't use La'el Collins and Tyron Smith, they moved Nsekhe to right tackle, and they were trying Terrence Steele at left tackle. So that one's one to keep our eye on, I think, because we found out the last couple of years that left tackle backup guy is pretty important.
I expected more from him.
Nsekhe?
Yes, I expected more from Nsekhe. I thought he would play a little bit better in the game.
He's up there in years.
36?
36?
36, I think.
So,
but when you're talking about that age, then, and especially at that position, if you're smart enough and you use your feet enough, your brain enough,
right?
What's Jason Peters? He's 39 and just got signed, and the Bears want to make him their starting left tackle.
I think the key thing you just said: use your feet.
Yeah.
And and I think they're going to give Steele a chance. Now he struggled last year, undrafted rookie. Okay. I understand on that offensive line, and they started him day one at right tackle. He's got some experience, and he was one of the guys that won their offseason workout awards, got stronger. So we'll see.
So he is 12 years younger than Nsekhe.
That's how young he is, right? Yeah. And so we'll see what happens there, like who actually gets that job. But in my books, if they ain't sold on any of those guys, Zach Martin's my backup tackle. We ain't messing like they did last year.
I like the assorted rotation that they had going on at offensive line. You had Beatis in there, then you had Connor Williams was trying to do some things.
So you like that?
They moved. Well, I just want to see what they're doing right now.
What they're trying
I want to find the recipe.
What they're trying to find out is if Connor Williams can be that backup center. Because you save a spot on the 53, right? And you save money against the salary cap. Because and the game day roster, right? Because now you don't need 2 guys, a backup guard and a backup center.
I am definitely a Beatis guy.
Yeah, I think he's good.
That's my dude.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, it's the first time I've ever said his name correctly. So that just lets you know.
You got it close anyway. Yeah.
Or you could.
I can go back to badass, okay?
That's what I was just going to say.
Badass, and we can
That's
just leave this
easiest,
alone.
right? Yeah, and somebody tried to point out, they're having competition for the starting center job. No, Biotish is the starting center. They just want to see on the game day roster, if the center gets hurt, can Connor Williams go over there and take it without mucking up the offense? His snaps now are still a little left to be desired.
And Zach is also a guy that's in.
A little? Yeah.
Zach is also a guy that's in for that, too. Backup center, Zach Martin? No?
No, backup tackle.
Backup. So no back. Besides Connor
Williams. Now, Connor McGovern has some experience in college.
But he hasn't played it in 4 years.
Right. So, if knock on wood, if Biotish went down with an injury, then what at center?
Well,
I mean,
Farniak is the only other guy that played center last year.
But that's why they're playing Connor Williams there, is since they don't have anybody with any experience as a backup center.
Right.
That's how valuable Joe Looney was to this team.
But he doesn't have any experience either as a backup
as a center, but at least he has NFL experience.
So I wonder.
And so you would like for Connor Williams to be efficient enough at center that if Biotish went down with an injury, Williams could slide over to center, and Connor McGovern would be your left guard.
I wonder if you're talking about a full offensive line the way we want it. I don't give a damn who you put at center, as long as you have the supporting cast in Tyron.
Yeah, as long as you can
Martin.
make the snap.
Yes, you make the snap, we'll take care of everything else.
And he two snaps in a row in that game. He went high, mucked up the play, and then he hit himself in the butt with the one that went short.
Yeah, they had a nice laugh on that one in the booth.
Did they?
I wasn't laughing.
Yes, you were.
Not Bill, huh?
That was Babe.
I heard somebody. I got to listen to you guys because the NFL Network picked up your broadcast.
They did?
They did.
It did, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so somebody said,
I can certainly understand that, but I didn't know that.
They said he was short. He's short. One of the snaps was short. I go, no, he wasn't short. He didn't even get it past himself.
Non-existent.
Yeah. So, and if we're worried about stuff, we're worried about, on the offense, we're worried about backup positions, right? We just talked about it. And then the quarterback spot, and we'll see how that goes. Mm-hmm. And you got to have some money. So something's going to happen in Chicago. I'm going to make that prediction.
What are you talking?
Quarterback.
Oh, I think they like their rookie.
Oh, they like their rookie, but what,
right?
are you
think he
surprised about
starts?
that?
You think he starts?
I think he starts.
Well, then they got two veteran backups that have been in the league for 10 years and make a lot of money.
There's no competition.
They can't keep both Dalton
no
and
competition.
Foles.
Foles is out.
But you know what? It's going to cost them $16 million in dead money if they let him go.
They should
They
have thought,
signed
they
him to
should
a
have
big
thought of that
contract.
when they
Yeah.
signed him to all of that freaking
The
money.
cheapest one to let go would be Dalton because his guarantee is only like $4.5 million.
But Foles did not show last year, or to me even the year before that he's capable with this Chicago squad. Now Philadelphia is one thing, but that Chicago squad, he does not look comfortable back there. He hadn't looked comfortable last year and the year before that.
And that was only a few games.
Yeah.
That wasn't a 17-game season that he got Philadelphia to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And he's never really, every time somebody's given him a chance, they've always moved on to somebody else.
Was it Jacksonville?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And so what they're hoping for, even though it would still be the salary cap hit, is that whoever loses out there,
Maybe.
there's
Won't
another
cost them
team
as
that
much.
has a need for a quarterback. And
don't you think some of these other teams that drafted a guy in the first round, they're going to fall in love with that guy? And it's like, okay, this veteran guy, well, you might be out the door.
I think Foles I think he'll get picked up by someone else.
Right.
I truly believe that.
Right.
Yeah, by one of those teams that has that rookie quarterback that they drafted.
As a backup.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd love to hear what Everson has to say, not only about quarterbacks, but cornerbacks. How about you, Mickey? Would that be good?
I want to talk about quarterback number one.
Okay. All right. When we come back on Mick Shots.
We'll take care of that.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way. Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
It's game day. You know what that means. First, kebab prep. Steak, pepper, onion, steak, pepper, onion. Next, a counterclockwise lap around the room. Now the lucky grease-stained jersey goes on. And lastly, the dance. You know the one. This is a game day ritual no matter where you are. Whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com and keep the tradition alive and well. Hotels.com, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Mick Shots.
And Mixed Shots continues from inside the SWBC Mortgage Studios here at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. And Mickey.
Yes.
You have a read.
Get breakdowns of each position, battles to watch, scouting reports for every player, and more with the official 2021 Dallas Cowboys Star Magazine Training Camp Preview. Get your digital copy today for only $4.95 at dallascowboys.com/thestar.
Everson.
Yes, sir.
Mickey has been practicing. Don't you think? He's been practicing his reading during the offseason.
Sorry.
I've been saved up. I didn't have to do it when I was on the other show.
I think he's just happy to be in studio.
Yeah, so he's more focused.
Yes, definitely more focused.
Normal. Yeah, I just thought he practiced reading during the offseason.
He's got a tan and everything. Look at him, man. It was what is it? Oxnard was good for you.
Who's darker, huh?
I don't know. If I go this way, you might get me.
All right, Mickey, you want to talk Dak?
I think we should.
Yeah, at some point.
So it looks like, from a throwing standpoint, he's good to go. He spent last Tuesday in Oxnard for about 30 throws, I think it was, going up and down the field with Amari Cooper, who, by the way, is also off PUP by now.
Foot looking good?
Yes. You should have seen the slant he ran yesterday, planted with his repaired foot. He was on the right side, took the slant and left, and when he caught the ball, it looked like he was shot out of a cannon. So
were those boos I was hearing at Ford Center?
You don't think they were coops?
They were coops. Oh, I was wondering. I was wondering who they were booing.
You didn't see who caught the ball, right? But anyway, they went up. Cooper was running routes like they called the play, and he would run his route, and Dak was throwing to him, and I think he threw it about 30 times. And he wasn't going full speed, like throwing with top velocity, but I'll tell you what, the ball never hit the ground. So that was a good sign.
I just cannot wait to watch him on Saturday night against the Houston Texans.
And we are not sure that's going to happen.
I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. I'm not looking forward to it. I don't think that's going to happen.
He has not been in any competitive period throwing the football, meaning team. He did a little 7-on-7. But he hasn't been in any team. And last night at the practice that was open to the public, he did all the other stuff, and then when they got in the team, he didn't do anything. And then McCarthy, before the practice, basically pointed out that if he doesn't play against Houston on Saturday, he's not playing in the final preseason game.
And see, no one plays in the final preseason.
Right.
So if he's going to play, then this is the game.
And his other point on that was a lot of it depends on who he's playing with, right? Because if you're playing him in the last preseason game, and that's his only appearance, then you're playing your starters on offensive line.
Right.
You're playing your starters at wide receiver.
It's going to be a dress
right?
rehearsal for everyone if Dak's going in for his own.
But he made it sound like if he doesn't play this week, he's not playing in the fourth. That's just for the young guys. And as he pointed out, he said, there's no urgency from my perspective to see Dak play against Houston, meaning they're not going to force it just to say, okay, you need to play in a game because you haven't played in one since October 11th. And they just don't look at it like that.
That has a bit of merit, though.
Yeah.
It's such a weird situation. I feel like it's my son out there or something, especially when you see the break that he had and coming back from that horrific injury. I'm not going to lie. I'm nervous about him getting out there, but you got to do it. Eventually, you got to take that first step. Now, of course, it's not going to be the last game. If it's going to be a game, it's going to be this one, as Bill said. I would like to see him get some action.
I think he wants
before
to.
Tampa. Oh, he definitely
wants to.
Doubt.
And I think from a quarterback standpoint, you can do all the practice you want, right? And I'm not worried about his arm, and I'm not worried about his foot. Mm-hmm. What I'm worried about is the inactivity. Because you got to see things as the quarterback, right? You got to go through.
Even if you're Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you got to see it.
You got to
right?
get in there and you got to try the clothes on again. You know what I mean?
I would imagine when Bill played quarterback, if you've ever played quarterback,
I did,
even if it was pickup games, you got to get used to seeing everybody.
Fourth grade.
Fourth grade.
That's what.
The ball was bigger than he was.
No, that's when we figured out I needed glasses.
Couldn't see.
I could not see the receivers downfield. We practice at like dusk, and I just heaved the ball downfield. You know how many points?
Why didn't you say something?
I did after every game.
I can't see.
And finally, we checked my eyes, and I needed glasses. But I lost my opportunity to play quarterback ever again because I was so bad. You know how many points we scored? I played for the Army in the Irving YMCA.
Okay,
you know how many points we scored that season? 0.
Lying,
I was the quarterback of a team that scored 0 points. All right.
So
go ahead,
anyway,
Mickey.
Scary.
I'm just saying, you got to get back in. I guess you can simulate it in practice, but it's just not the same,
Bill.
right?
I'm sorry, you can't, Spags.
You got to recognize defenses and do your reads.
And I know it's all about what most teams, and especially the way this offense is. It's all about what we do. Nobody can stop us.
Right.
But adjustments have to be made. And I'm sorry if I'm a defensive back. And I see Dak hadn't played all offseason, I'm jumping routes.
Yeah.
I'm jumping routes. I'm sitting down on routes. I'm going to make it extremely difficult for him. Show me you can throw that deep pass, even though you haven't been practicing. You've been practicing, but a full practice since last, September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, October.
First of October.
That
last
first week in October, right.
So I would say that it might be a detriment to these guys. And I think it's putting them under some undue pressure because you can tell on Hard Knocks and all of that, he's ready to go.
Oh.
And he's been a little cheeky, about being pulled out of drills.
How about that one? Hey, GG, I got this. You're out.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right. Or, I've been sitting around all this time, and I gotta play.
I need my reps. I need my reps. And then I think he didn't. I don't think he's ever really heard it correct. Nip it in the butt.
Yeah,
he meant
butt.
Yeah.
So that lets you know what he needs practice.
But that shows you how. That also shows you how competitive he is.
Oh, there's
right?
no doubt about it. You see a different Dak Prescott on Hard Knocks because that's the dude that gets out there and throws for 400-plus yards a game. That's the guy in there. But, of course, when we try to interview him, then he's going to be
and he's Mr. Corporate.
Yes,
why would Dak have ever heard of that nip it in the bud anyway?
Butt or bud? What? He probably thought he heard Bud, but it was Bud, and they probably didn't hear it that often.
So where did you hear it?
I'm a grown man.
You know why Dak's never heard that before?
Why he's never heard it?
Because it's on the Andy Griffith Show. Barney Fife used to say it all the time. You got to nip
every
it
morning, dude. I watch it every morning.
I knew that you had, and so that's why. It's from our era.
Yeah,
So,
you got a better perspective of who Dak is on Hard Knocks.
I love watching that stuff.
Somebody told me they were bored with it. I said, how could you be bored with it? They showed you Dak's personality. They showed you Micah Parsons' personality.
Joseph.
Right?
Didn't Joseph do some?
Kelvin Joseph.
Yeah, did he do some rapping or something?
You know how I can tell that it resonates with a younger crowd? And for us, when we're out there and you haven't been in training camps and stuff, you try not to be jaded about it, but there's so much that we kind of take for granted because we have seen just the whole layout and everything at training camp. Mm-hmm. And for someone who hasn't been there, like my daughter, my youngest daughter, she's texting me last Tuesday night, oh my God, all this stuff about Dak, and she thought it was so funny when Zeke stole the bicycle, and so she's going on and on about it. She loved it, and it's a lot of that same stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah.
My son and my daughter's a crazy Cowboy fan, so it doesn't take much for her to watch it, but she's extremely interested this year just because of the new players. You've got Dak, you've got Zeke, and instead of hearing them, like you said, with these corporate Cowboy remarks, you really get to see the guys.
Especially with Dak. Because Dak, as you said, when he's saying everything that you're supposed to say when the camera's rolling, and now you can see him. Now, they do know that cameras are there, but
you can't fake that stuff.
Right,
like
exactly.
He would
not
take an extra effort to show he's competitive. He doesn't have to.
Or even Micah Parsons when he was
Micah's as real as there is.
Oh, he
doesn't care about.
He forgot the microphone was there, right? I'm hungry. Do we get no food here in practice? He goes, Penn State, they fed us, right? And then the Lions are always hungry. But that part, his conversation with Dan Quinn on the telephone, like the phone was ringing, he picks it up. Hello? and it's like, okay, so he tried to talk his way back in, right? And Quinn's like, no, we've had enough. He goes, no, I want more. And Quinn goes, I want more too, but you're done, right?
You can tell, but this group of, even the group of rookies, they're, as Parsons is, Joseph, they're kind of unusual rookies. They have a little flair to them other than just being good football players.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or Vander Esch being the veteran and start laughing at him because,
I'm sure
you
want to
play more? What did the coach say? You got to sit, and he laughs, right? And
then he's doing the math on, okay, I'm going to be sitting for 2.5 hours. And
he was absolutely right,
exactly.
Too. Let me tell you.
Right. We're going to be sitting the next 14 hours.
Because we showed up at 4:30 that night in the morning, I guess I should say, coming back from Canton. When he was adding up the hours, and he had it pretty right.
Too. And Canton is Eastern time, so that's 7:30 Canton time.
Yeah.
So that's right. So Dak's not playing until September 9th. That's what we've arrived at.
It sure sounds like it, even though because they only have, they got 2 more full practices.
What about the offensive linemen?
They're going to practice Wednesday because today was their glorified walkthrough. Thursday I think was going to be an off day. They were going to practice Friday. So, they're running out of time.
Give me, what about Tyron? What about Lyle? What about Mark?
Those guys are ready to go.
Are they going to play next week?
I would imagine
they'll play against Houston.
They'll play against Houston to give Garrett Gilbert a chance, right? Because you throw those other guys out there, how are you going to evaluate your quarterbacks?
And by the way, on the cuts, 5 cuts are coming here within the next 22 minutes. They'll be announced, and then 5 more cuts come, or whether it be cuts or players being placed on IR, and then 5 more players will be cut next Tuesday. So that gives you an 80-man roster to play the last game against Jacksonville, and there's probably about 30 guys who won't play in that game.
Yeah, and I don't think Zeke's going to get a carry either, by the way.
And he doesn't need.
That was my next question.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You see him yesterday? I mean, you've seen him all camp, but I mean, it's just he's moving so well.
Yes.
Is this unusual? Saquon Barkley, is he going to play this preseason?
It's becoming more and more usual that they're not playing at
Especially
all. Last year,
every team,
and it was 2 years ago. I remember the Rams. Cowboys played the Rams in Hawaii. Okay, and they didn't play their starters, their key starters, the entire preseason. I think that may have been the first year, maybe the year before, that I had heard of a team, and there's more teams that have taken on that.
So that's why Jared Goff played first preseason or second preseason game, because he's new to that team.
Probably.
To Detroit.
Yeah, he's new to Detroit.
Yeah.
And Detroit, Dan Campbell, I guarantee you, has a different philosophy than Sean McVay does on preseason games.
He's got a different approach than everyone.
Right. But, if you just look at the running backs, they seem to make the transition from college to the NFL a lot faster than any other position. If you think back to Emmitt Smith, his rookie year, he didn't go to training camp. He didn't sign till the Tuesday before the opener. And he got in there and almost gained 1,000 yards.
And then in '93, he missed the first 2 games of the season.
Oh, that's one of the best seasons ever.
And he came on.
NFL.
And Barkley coming off an injury, there's no way he's playing.
Which reminds me, and I'm sure I've told Bill this story. I don't know if you've heard it. So it had to be, 94, 95, somewhere in there. They weren't going to play Emmett in the preseason. And so we were talking, and I said, well, don't you need to go out there and just kind of get used to getting hit again? He goes, are you crazy? He goes, I know what it feels like to get hit. I don't need to be reminded. I said, Your Honor, I withdraw the question.
And it's Emmitt Smith, but right? Now he's different from other running backs that you would say, well, you need your timing.
Yeah.
It's not just about getting hit. Well, once again, that's Emmett. Other running backs, which is a bunch of lesser running backs than Emmitt Smith, I wouldn't be so confident about their ability to just step in and not play the entire preseason.
And again, you got to see things, right? You got to see the whole, react.
The footwork, the steps. Some things are just instinctive, but if you don't practice, those instincts can lag a little bit.
Especially when you're practicing in training camp these days and you're playing touch football, right? They ain't hitting you. Or they're not. Let's put it this way: they're not hitting 21. They barely hit 20, but 34, 36, 37.
They're getting the smoke.
They kind of get smoked.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Kelvin Joseph hit a guy yesterday in practice.
He did. Yeah.
24.
Was 24?
He's still mad about
24 is Kelvin Joseph,
yeah.
but.
Yeah, but I bet it was one of those numbers that I pointed out.
I can't remember who went.
I know. I wrote it down,
If
too.
you can't remember, then it doesn't matter. Okay.
All right, so let's talk 24 when we come back here on Next Shots. 24 now, subject. 24 in the past.
Ooh.
When we come back on Next
transition.
Shots. That's Bill.
Trying to see if I can find it.
At Smoothie King, we are blending goodness to fuel your greatness. Every blend is crafted to help you achieve your health and fitness goals. Smoothie King uses only whole fruits and organic veggies. You'll never find sugary syrups or artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. And unlike some other smoothie places, there are 0 grams of added sugar in many of our blends. Smoothie King is proud to be the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys. Place your order in the app or online for pickup or delivery. Smoothie King, rule the day.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way. Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with United Ag and Turf. Before you can park yourself in front of the game, park yourself in a John Deere and power through your chores. Our Land Run package is a 1025R, 25 horsepower tractor with a loader, rotary cutter, and a box blade for $229 a month. And the price you see is the price you'll pay, no surprises. So don't miss another kickoff.
Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com. Offer ends February 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Now let's get to work.
Back to Mick Shots.
Does your Cowboys fandom go beyond the game? The NFL Fan of the Year contest is back, and we're relaunching the search for one extraordinary Cowboys fan who is a positive influence and inspires others through their love of the game. Nominate yourself or others for the chance to win a trip to Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles. Nominate today at DallasCowboys.com/fan of the year. The Cowboys and the Chiefs, Super Bowl 56, SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles.
I love it, Bill. I love it. I'm with you, buddy. We will be there.
So I hope we're recording that, and we'll play it at the end of the year. Since this is our first,
we're gonna do like they do on the NBA. We're gonna start putting up stickers of our predictions and things.
There you go.
I like that.
You know what? I've been saying Cowboys Chiefs for the last. How long's Mahomes been Mahomes? The last 3 years or so?
We're going to put the date, the time, and everything. Anytime we make a prediction, a bold prediction.
Okay, there was a bold prediction right there.
Bold prediction right
8/17/21 at 2:45 in the afternoon. Cowboys Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Mickey.
All right, got you down. Got a long ways to go.
Now, you got a big old legal pad there, Mickey, with notes throughout. Is there anything you would like to get to in this final segment?
He can't find anything. He's got
so many notes
he can't find anything.
You were talking about, you wanted to talk about 24.
Yes.
So,
okay.
What's your question?
24. Kelvin Joseph. What does number 24 think about number 24?
I like him. I really do. He's been having some issues, but he's playing tight. I've never seen him really out of position. Guys have been caught a couple of short passes on him. Nothing that really alarmed me at all. I'm not necessarily worried about the cornerbacks as much as I was worried about the safeties. And I saw the young man came up, Kazee. I call him Kazee because my gospel choir teacher, her name was Miss Kazee.
Okay.
But I don't think that's the
it's KZ. And the way I remember KZ, he said his nickname growing up was Crazy. Crazy KZ.
I thought he came up and he laid a good hit on somebody.
Yes, he did.
I thought our secondary looked good all the way. But Joseph is he's kind of lagging behind Nashawn. For some reason, people like Wright more than they like
Well, they
Joseph.
see Wright, in the mini camp, the OTAs, he was either intercepting a pass daily or knocking a ball down. Once the pads came on, I thought he somewhat regressed, or not regressed, he just didn't do anything that said, oh, look at that.
Right.
And then lately, he's back at it again. His size is, even if he's beaten at 6'4", you got them long arms and you can cover a lot of ground even if you're beat. So he showed up some, but Joseph got off to a slow start, I thought. But he didn't have much offseason. He missed like 10 days with COVID. And
right in the middle of OTAs.
Yeah, right in the middle, right? And so it took him a little while to get going. But they have him working second team left cornerback. And at times he'll get a snap or two with the first instead of Anthony Brown. I think they worry about him being young. There's a couple times, where when he gets beat being too aggressive.
Yeah.
Imagine that, right? 24 being aggressive.
Got to jump it, baby. Got to jump it.
But he has unique skill to catch up. Now, he got beat on a deep one last night, and he couldn't catch up. But the majority of the times when I see him beaten, then he makes it a tie and to be able to make a play on the
speed,
ball.
Man, he's gonna make it tough for you to get past him consistently.
He may be one of those guys like Kevin Smith, because when they drafted Kevin Smith in the first round in '92, Ike Holt started. And then about 9-10 games in the season, Kevin Smith took over.
Yeah, well, you can see that coming.
Right.
Because Ike Holt was probably the most, even more unorthodox than I was.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about, you wouldn't know what the hell he's playing by the way he's lined up. Sometimes he looked like he was 10 yards off the wide receiver. He wouldn't move, and he would jump every route, and if he wasn't right, then they were going by him. But what I liked about this secondary, and not just Joseph, but I was always upset with the Cowboys secondary, whether it's linebackers or DBs. There's not a concerted, unified path to the ball. If I'm going against a running back and I see a tackle or a blocker coming in front of me and he's leading the way for that guy, I attack it a certain way because I know my help is coming from a certain place. Mm-hmm. So you have a coordinated attack on that running back when he's down the field. I did not see that at all last year. I'm not going to give up my outside shoulder if I know the blocker is coming on that outside shoulder. I'm not going to give up my leverage to the running back. They did that so much last year, whether you're a linebacker or whether it's a defensive back. In this last preseason game, you could see that they limited the big runs because of the way that the safeties and the cornerbacks attacked the runner or even the interference in front of the runner. That is extremely important, Spags. That can mean you can go from having an 80-yard play to just an 18-yard play. That is extremely important to know, to have a concerted effort as a secondary to know where your help is coming from and where you're the strongest, because you can't just give up on certain plays. Then you're just opening the door for the running back. You have to close that door, make him go to another door, and that should be where your help is coming from.
Show up.
That's right. And they did that very well in this last ball game. That's the kind of things that I look for. Of course, making plays on the ball is great, but when you're giving up historical amount of numbers in the running game, something has to be done on how we attack the running back. It's not just a defensive call. It's how do we approach it once he breaks and gets into the secondary.
See, and that was one of the problems they had the second half against Arizona when they brought in, how do I say it? Stivalor, the quarterback. Strevler.
Yeah.
He was running all over the place, and I was thinking back to last year with Kyler Murray ran for 70-some yards against him, and it's like, okay, this is that second half.
Allen came and ran some yards against us as well. What team was he on? Allen, the quarterback.
Kyle Allen.
Yeah, he came from Washington. He came in. We couldn't stop him from running certain plays last year.
So, we kind of romanticize the sack, right? We romanticize pressure on the quarterback. Their problem last year was stopping the run. And I keep trying to remind people of that, especially when they want to make an argument, well, they should have taken an offensive lineman in the first round or they should have taken a cornerback. I said, yeah, were those guys going to stop the Cowboys from giving up 5 yards a carry?
That's it.
5 yards a carry.
That's it. That is it.
So I got to see that, and losing Gallimore for the first part of the season sure didn't help because he was really active, and I thought he was going to be really good. Now, we'll see what Odighizuwa can do. He's young. At times he makes plays. At times he gets pushed out of there. So maybe a few more snaps that they can develop that. The other thing they got going for them is that they've got some defensive ends when they get into nickel situations that can move inside and rush from a tackle position. Basham can do it. Now, he's been out with a hamstring. I think it was a hamstring injury. Brett Urban, he can move inside also. So they have some guys that can rush from inside in nickel situation. But Bohanna was a little bit slow coming along, but I think he's starting to get there. But he's more of a one technique than anything else, right?
Yeah.
If he does anything other than that, I'm impressed.
Yeah,
because he's huge.
He can move pretty well.
He moves well. Now, I've seen him get pushed out of there. So, I mean, there's a reason he was a 6th-round pick, right? Everybody didn't say, oh, this guy's a walk-in starter, right? He was a 6th-round pick.
Well, to me, whoever you draft, whatever round, wherever you come from, you got to be coachable.
Right.
Okay, if I'm him, if I'm as big as Bohanna is and I'm getting pushed out of there, then it's up to that coach to stop me from getting pushed out of there. Coach, what am I doing wrong? Show me. Sometimes it's just one thing that you have to deal with. So talent is one thing. Coaching is extremely important.
You know what? And that's a good point because we talk about Dan Quinn as the defensive coordinator. Well, number 2, Dan Quinn's the defensive line coach. That's how he made his bones in the NFL coaching before he became a coordinator. Number 3, George Edwards is the linebackers coach now. He was here late 90s.
Okay.
Became a defensive coordinator.
It's listed as a senior defensive assistant.
Right, exactly. But he's taken over which he should have last year. And I think he's a really good coach. And then they brought in Joe Witt, had been a secondary coach with Mike in Green Bay. And just watching him, another really good, experienced coach. Nothing against Lindquist last year. I forgot Maurice Lindquist, but he had been a college guy. This was his first.
And he's back coaching in college
Buffalo,
now.
right? Head coach.
Congratulations.
Yeah, no, and he's from Dallas and played at A&M, but it was his first year in the NFL. And
there's a difference between yelling and coaching,
right? You got to teach.
You got to teach.
And I think they've improved the teaching quality on their defense. Now it's we haven't seen them get beat yet, right? And which they will. Going 17-0.
Hey, who was impressed with Jalen Smith last game? Coming down the line, making plays. I was shocked. He was in position to do some things.
I was glad to hear you say that because there was a big discussion this morning on The Fan on how bad he is. And I just think he was out of position last year. He is not a weak side linebacker. I don't know what convinced him that he was, but he wasn't. He cannot go laterally. He's got to go downhill, straight. And don't tell me he was always late on the pile for a tackle. When you make 150 tackles in the NFL, you did something right.
See,
right?
That's what I was trying to say about Lockhart.
Yeah, right.
220 tackles. I don't care where it is. The hit machine. I don't care where it is. If you own somebody 220 times in one season, give me a break.
So, and I've seen him being used in better situations. Like when it's nickel, get him out. That's not his deal.
Thank you, bro.
See, that's where they've got enough personnel,
right.
And Quinn is going to use that personnel to the best of their abilities.
Like everybody got excited the preseason game. Well, the Cardinals came out in 3 wide, so the Cowboys came out in their nickel.
Of course.
And their first nickel is Micah Parsons and Keanu Neal at the linebacker spot.
So they're thinking,
they've already they're
made the
starters,
move. It's
right?
done.
And it's like, no, they're the first nickel. And they weren't originally the first nickel, but as camp went along, and it's like, okay, they finally got these guys up there. And the key thing with Parsons is, especially when he's on the nickel like that, they don't know if he's covering or blitzing.
That's right.
And boy, he's got instincts.
They can put him on the line, or they can put him in the linebacker.
On their base defense, when they go 3 linebackers, imagine that, using 3 linebackers against a 2 tight end offense, which they didn't do last year. He's on the line of scrimmage. So a lot of times if you got to cover up your strong side linebacker, you play him off, right? He is on the line of scrimmage, and they don't know if he's covering that tight end in man, if he's just dropping, or if he's blitzing. And he can come from the backside against the run, by the way.
Somebody that showed his salt, I guess, proved his salt. I guess you know how to say that, Bill. Keanu Neal. I thought he showed his intellect in the ball game. That's where, and of course, I know I was one of the first ones talking trash about him when they signed him and the other Atlanta guy. But
Casey, you've already and now you've complimented.
I'm complimenting both of them. Hey, man, I know I don't mind swallowing my words, but that doesn't bother me. If you show me something, then I will give you credit. And what he did was showed me a lot of awareness. Mm-hmm. He was always in position. And as a linebacker, we didn't really see that much last year.
No. As a matter of fact, linebackers in corners, busted coverages, I think you see less of that. And we still haven't seen whatever Malik Hooker's got to offer. He basically, I think yesterday was the first time in pads in competitive situations.
Had a pick 6, by the way.
Ooh,
he was on a tip ball.
It was a tip ball, but it was by your guy.
Hey, man, they all count.
Nashawn Wright, I think.
That's right. Nashawn Wright made the play. And
you talked about it. Penalties. This team needs to be solid. We always talk all facets of the game, need them all, and you have to stop hurting yourself. I mean, be a smart team. We just weren't that last year. And I'm looking at preseason. I see fewer penalties, even though the encroachment led to the field goal.
Yeah,
he probably would have made it.
Head coach wasn't happy with
I
that
know he
one.
wasn't. He would have made it anyway. He probably would have made it anyway.
Yeah.
This guy's a veteran. But still, you don't want to give them those kind of opportunities. But once again, if my emphasis is on getting off on the D-line, you're going to get that. You can't get both. You can't have someone so disciplined to where we got better at getting off on the defensive line and no penalties.
You were talking about the winning field goal at the end?
Goal. Yeah.
He made it.
I saw it.
He made it by that much.
I saw it.
And it didn't matter whether it was good or not.
Yeah.
We were still going home.
That's right.
Exactly.
Because there's
tie game.
It was still
overtime.
a decent game.
No
we still
overtime.
played a decent game defensively.
You know, the TV ratings on that, it was still going strong at 12:30 at night.
Was it
When that-
really?
When that ended, it had basically, it never fell off, basically.
Everybody misses this stuff.
Exactly.
Man. We miss
That's
this
right.
stuff.
Well, good.
That's it.
I don't feel as
Past
bad
midnight.
getting home at 6 a.m.
You got home? Oh, yeah. That's when my flight left was 6 a.m.
Did it really?
So I got like 2 hours sleep.
I walked in the door at 6 a.m.
All right. I'm sitting here checking Twitter and seeing if there's any reports about the Cowboys' moves here at 3 o'clock, and nothing has come out yet.
Not posted yet on Cowboys.com, DallasCowboys.com.
Nothing posted
So when
yet.
we're coming back, guys? When's the next show?
Thursday.
Thursday? Same time?
Same time,
Cool.
same station.
2 o'clock on Thursday. Oh, I wanted to be able to report the
Be the
news
first
here.
one?
Yeah. And I'm not seeing it. It's not breaking. As soon as we sign off, it will break.
All right, let's give it another 5 minutes.
Okay, I guess that does it.
Yeah,
Unless you got
gotta
a
go.
parting Mick shot. You have a parting Mick shot? We make that a habit
That's right.
every show, a parting Mick shot.
I was trying to look to see if anybody sent me an email and say, okay, it's time to put it up.
Nope, not yet. All right.
We can talk for 4 more minutes. There's nothing after, is there, Chris?
Is it still raining outside?
No, the interviews are starting.
What's this? Okay, they're doing interviews now.
Okay.
All right,
Right.
with the media. What's the schedule the rest of the way? This week.
So practice tomorrow, full practice. Thursday's an off day because today, while they didn't practice in pads, they practice and they're here for meetings. And then Friday is a shorter practice and game on Saturday.
And the Friday practice is open to fans at Ford Center.
That's
at the
one of the
Star in
ones that are
Frisco.
open,
Yep,
right?
Yep. This Friday and then the following Friday and Saturday practices leading up to the final preseason game against the Jacksonville Jaguars minus Tim Tebow.
On a Sunday afternoon. Were you shocked by that move?
I must admit, I was shocked that it was it's done. I mean, I would have given the guy the preseason. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I know that wasn't his only play, the missed block.
Oh, is that? I heard everybody talking about
they
the
made a
missed
big
block.
deal about it. I mean, come on, man. I've had tackles that look like that. Give me a break. I mean, I've been there, done that, brother. I know exactly how you feel. I'm sure he didn't play like that the entire game. But, when you're a lightning rod like that, it's unfortunate. As much as people are pulling for you, you have probably twice as many pulling against you.
It's like it's like America today.
Yeah.
Half the country likes you, half the country hates you.
Like, oh, I thought that was love. No, you're not. So not universally.
All right. I don't think we're going to get this.
Take one last look
time,
here
yeah.
to see what they did.
And we're going to strike out. We're not going to know who the final 85 players on the roster
Chris is
are.
not killing you right now. I was probably just breaking the room.
Oh, Hank, they're posting the story right now.
Oh, they are.
But hold on.
So let's just
Nobody's coming
see if
up
we can
after
get
us.
two more.
Posting the story right
No one
now.
wants to
This is
follow this
breaking
show.
news.
No one wants to follow this show.
Breaking news from the Star in Frisco. We're standing by to find out who the final 85 players on the roster will be.
Get those 5 guys.
You've already got one on injured reserve.
It's not like we're going to look at some
and go, oh, no,
Right,
they cut that guy?
Pretty predictable, I'm sure.
Oh, come on.
By the way, tomorrow they won't be practicing outdoors anyway.
Okay, I think I got it.
Oh, Mickey's got it. With breaking news, we got the breaking news sounder.
3 of the 5 players were injured, including, it said the first cut down date reduced from 90 to 85. Mm-hmm. 3 of the 5 players were injured, including 2020 fourth-round pick Reggie Robinson. So the cornerback, they moved
from
him
Cleveland,
back
Texas, in Tulsa.
He suffered a toe injury, and it was likely to keep him out for the rest of the season. Shewu Alanalua, I mentioned,
out of TCU.
He goes to IR. So he's not eligible to be brought back. Rookie linebacker Anthony Hines.
Out of Plano East, they cut all the local guys. Or they put them on injured reserve. I'm sorry.
Wade injured.
Okay, so there's three local guys. A TCU guy,
don't have to pay for
Plano East and Cleburne.
And then they released cornerback Kyron Brown.
He was with the Jets last year. He was a late pickup in training camp.
He got hurt.
From where, though?
From...
Where's he from? I thought you knew, Bill.
I got him.
He's a Texas guy?
Number 36. He's from Akron.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
And then the last one was wide receiver Brennan Eagles.
From Texas.
Texas
Another
guy.
local, basically, from
so
Texas.
there you go.
There you go. There's your final cuts, or your first cuts.
So nothing dramatic.
Well, that was breaking news, though, on Mick Shots.
That's what we do here.
Mickey
Within
Spagnola.
5 minutes, right?
That's right.
And we got to thank William Boykins.
Yes.
With his tweet saying it's going
All
up.
right. Very good.
Way to go, William.
Thank you,
Chris, thanks for letting us linger for 5 minutes.
Chris is not even back there.
We
he gave up on us like 5 till.
We may not be streaming right now. He may have already signed us off.
I saw it on here.
Mick
Shots
okay, all right.
Okay, that does it for Mick Shots.
Thank you, Chris.
Breaking news from Mr. Spagnola to close us out. See you Thursday at 2 o'clock.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?